what's more normalized and accepted, sadly, is the cheating.
Yeah.
All right, or yeah, it's cheap. I know about her. Don't bring it home, or don't bring any babies home, or the diseases and all that type of stuff. That's the American way. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as the co-authors of Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Today, we really want to speak about something that is very important. And we want to just kind of point out some little, or maybe not little, probably large, cognitive dissonance. Okay? Because polygyny, and we talk about it all the time. We let people know that we are not anti-monogamy. All right? Yes, we're pro-polygyny, no doubt. But we're simply pro-morals. So it doesn't matter necessarily the form of marriage you practice. What matters is that you work on getting better at practicing whatever form of marriage or relationship that you have. Very, very important. So here's the challenge, though. There are a lot of people that have issues with polygyny specifically. So there's the idea that polygyny is just something oppressive, or it means a man doesn't love the wife anymore, or doesn't have kids, and what's going to happen, and all this fatalistic type thinking, right? So we posit the question of, are you actually just anti-marriage? Because by being anti-polygyny, which is simply a form of marriage, you can really deduce that you're just really against marriage. See, there's nothing that makes one form or the other superior. What makes things superior is the high quality of fulfillment and value that you get from a marriage and building a strong family.
Indeed.
You know, so I know we've heard a whole bunch of different things, all kinds of topics, and well, polygyny is only to save the low in society, those who are looked down upon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's you don't have to go far to find out what society thinks about that. You know what I'm saying? Whether you listen to relationship experts or gurus on the internet posted up with their super chats all the time. And it's you got the divorcees with kids or single mom with kids never married. Then of course, got divorcee with children. Then of course you got widows with children. You don't have children, you seem to be better on this run. It's like a whole system, right? But with that being said, is that only who polygyny is for? Yes, there's value. Of course we can see value. There's anybody, a person in their right thinking mind can't really deny that in those circumstances. But is that what it's limited to? All right, because again, polygyny is simply a form of marriage.
Well, see, people are more comfortable with us discriminating against women that are able-bodied and healthy and younger or a little older, have kids prior to polygyny,
Or
that can't have children. We're okay with certain discriminations when it suits our ego and making us feel okay with polygyny. So if she's sick and she got cancer and she's lame and all of that stuff, great, marry her. We get it, because you got a really good excuse. But if she's young, if she's not young, if she's middle-aged, if she's healthy, if she's mentally sound, then we got a problem with it. No, she can't be healthy. She can't be able-bodied. Because then there's a problem with the man then. And then there's really a problem with her for signing up to marry a man such as that. See, that whole thing, we're going to put the disability there, or the excuse. I don't care if it's a physical, mental disability, financial disability, whatever excuse they give it. It just suits and protects their ego in the box that they don't want marriage to come out of, that they want it to look this way, and it can't look another way, because if it looks another way, it's toxic. Not the people that practice it in a toxic way, but it's got to be monogamy, because that's what makes me feel safe. That's what we're used to. That's what we get, because you want to get it. See, that a lot of them don't even want to investigate or learn or be open enough to have the conversation about polygyny and why it's not a toxic practice. That's the part. At least be willing enough or open enough to say, okay, I'm not going to down it. I just don't understand it yet. Can you explain it to me? You know, some people just aren't willing to have the discussion at all.
No, and one of the reasons, it's funny you mentioned that, because one of the reasons I remember I was speaking with some brothers, and one brother was like, he was telling his wife, you know, he wants to practice religion, he's considering it and everything, and talking about our videos. And her first response was like, I don't want no competition. And then other brothers I spoke to was like, yeah, man, you know what? Our country doesn't allow it, but, you know, it's not good because you know what? They don't have any competition. So they just sit back, and get fat and do such and such. And it was bad because he just said the straight stereotype. It's funny, but I know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. The sisters like, well, I don't want no competition. So they have this fear. And since the majority of the world does not practice polygyny, clearly, either the majority of the world is single or they're married in monogamy if they're married at all. Right? So therefore, it's become this threat. And it's such a small percentage of men that even practice it anyway. What's more normalized and accepted, sadly, is the cheating.
Yeah.
All right. Or, yeah, it's cheap. I know about her. Don't bring it home, or don't bring any babies home, or the diseases and all that type of stuff. That's the American way.
And that's the thing that, you know, are you against marriage? If you're against polygyny, then you might as well say you're against marriage, because that's that whole thing of saying that, you know, well, don't bring it home. You can cheat, you can do this, whatever, as long as I don't know about it, but you know about it, type of thing. So, and then
They make movies on that, Hall Pass and all that. Like,
yeah.
it's the thing.
NBA players.
And then they have.
Who's that? 3-Point King.
Him
and his wife.
Curry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Curry, the open thing now.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I'm like, I was trying to thought. I forgot.
I just personally think he just didn't want to be, you know, dealt with in the manner that Will was dealt with, Will Smith. But that's just my personal thing. I don't know. So anyway, go ahead.
I forgot, but yeah,
marriage.
Yeah, and people a lot of people that talk about it, we'll just say that a lot of people that talk about it, make their arguments like they're pro-women, like they're for the women, and polygyny is negative against women, or women who practice, they must have low self-esteem, or they're catering to the man's needs and his, whatever, his lust or desires.
Thinking about him.
Right. So when it comes down to it, it's like, are you really, pro women and how the women feel and everything like that? Because if there are women out there that are seeking companionship, who are single mothers, who are widowed, who just are looking for marriage and a husband, and they have their own idea of what marriage is to them, meaning that, hey, number of women that I've heard from and talked to, it's like, hey, I got a career already, have this other stuff. Polygyny would be like awesome for me because, he won't be, constantly with me all the time type of thing, or, as often as a monogamous, I guess, husband would be, or something like that in their mindset. However, that's what these women are saying. They're not oppressed. They're not, delusional. They're not crazy. This is well-rounded women who want these specific things. However, it's like, no, they couldn't possibly want that, because that doesn't seem right. Because that means you want a husband that don't love you, because if he loved you, then he wouldn't be with somebody else, or he wouldn't want to be with anybody else. Thinking that it has to be this cookie cutter type of way. However, there are other women out there that want this type of lifestyle and that understand the benefits of this lifestyle.
We get emails. We're not,
not making this up.
Matchmakers.
Oh yeah, we're definitely not
Somebody
matchmakers.
said that you should make her the third. That fell out.
So the thing is that, are you really pro-women? Are you really, understanding the plight of women out there and the challenges, and even when you go into the negativity part of the abuse rates and single parents and things as far as that, and children without fathers, or, all these other things, do you look at the bigger picture? Do you see that as a solution? Because if you don't, and if you're so against it and only thinking that this is a thing that benefits men, that is only about their lustful desires, then you are not looking at the big picture. Then you don't see the big picture. And how can you possibly be?
Call it what it is. It ain't necessarily about the big picture. It's just being delusional.
True.
I mean, I'm
true.
being absolutely serious. It's not about the big picture because if you don't see it, you're delusional.
You don't, because
Why
it's there.
Because in monogamy, look, people say, oh, you know what, I know somebody did this and the family broke up like this and this is what happened, this is what he did. And we don't like your anecdotal evidence, one, because it's not objective. Polygamy wives.
Reporting for duty, husband, sir.
Formation. I am Coach Nazir.
I am Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I am Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and Polygamy Bootcamp. And if you think that's how polygamy actually works,
you are sadly mistaken.
but you were laughing, right? I know you're laughing. That's funny. Anyway, we're also the authors of Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And we want to let you know something because when it comes to practicing polygamy, there's this whole fantasy on how that is, at least on the men's side. Like, I'll do this, you're going to be step, lock, and step. Not at all. Not at all. The challenge is when we embarked on our polygynous journey before us raising, 12 children and traveling the world and everything else, it looked a whole lot messier and it was a whole lot more challenging. All right. So what we've done is we put a special gift together for you at polygamybootcamp.com to kind of let you know what the pillars are to really practicing it at a high level, especially if you're new. Or if you just have the idea, or maybe you want to just kind of figure a few things out.
Right. Yeah.
Many initial wives believe that they're being replaced or that their husband doesn't love them anymore, and they don't really know how to deal with that or their emotions.
And many subsequent wives, incoming wives, if you will, or second wives, have the feeling of where do they belong or that they are not good enough and they have to do extra in order to get the acceptance and the attention and the affection of their husband. And we dispel all of that. Polygamybootcamp.com.
Go there, get your free gift. You will thank us later, especially if you're looking at practicing polygyny in a healthy fashion. Make sure you click the link below. Go ahead and get your free gift, and we look forward to sharing more fun stuff with you. So shape up
or ship out.
Click the button below. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Because the funny part is that, all right, you can be against polygyny because some man did it wrong, because it's always the blame is usually on the men. But you're not anti-monogamy. And for every one example you can have in polygyny, since there's so few, you can have 5 or 10 in monogamy, but you're not talking against marriage or monogamy. So every 9 seconds, a woman is assaulted or beat up. Every 18 seconds, a woman goes to the emergency room as a victim, basically, of domestic violence, or what they classify now as intimate partner violence. And these are relationships traditionally one-to-one. Now, of course, we know one-to-one relationships only means they're only with that one person. There's no such thing as cheating, outside children, diseases and alcoholism and other types of issues, right? That's what we mean by opening it up talking about cognitive dissonance. So monogamy or polygyny, there's no one that's necessarily better than the other. The point is that they are both forms of marriage. So if you're against the one, then you're anti-marriage. You can't be pro-family and still be against one or the other. Doesn't make sense. Monogamy simply means one person's married to one other person. That's that. Polygyny means a man with multiple spouses. All right, we're talking about family-based, because under the guise of, under the umbrella of polygamy, you also have polyandry, which means a wife with multiple husbands. That's not something that's family oriented, building family, so on and so forth. And we don't practice it anyway, so that other people can talk on that. That's not us. All right, nevertheless, think about that. Are you having an issue with polygyny and you want to bring all these horror stories? Because people aren't talking about their horror stories when it comes to monogamy. When most challenges and, I didn't even know he was doing that to her. She was getting beat up, and this was happening at home. Look at the celebrities it comes with.
Yes.
We're looking at the outside, but we're not working on the inside. So our challenge is that we have to be able to think deeper and really question why we feel that way. And you guys talked about projection.
Exactly.
Before. We talked about our own insecurities and different challenges, and men that speak against it feel pretty much the same way. They have issues and challenges there too, because they don't want the responsibility of dealing with more than one woman. They won't desire more than one woman. There's no question on that. I've had any man say, you know what? Nah, more than one woman. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Never had that. They might whisper, hey man, how was this? They'll do that all day. But when it comes to it, and if you hear a man adamantly talking against polygyny, just know, similar to those senators, like the Missouri senators, talking all crazy about those crazy homosexuals and all of that stuff. And next you know, he caught up in a hotel room with his boyfriend. His whole family was astonished. Children, wife, everybody was embarrassed. You know, and that's not a small incident that happens, you know, all the way around the board. But our point is making sure that you're questioning what's causing you to be anti-marriage, because that's actually what it is.
Exactly.
Polygyny is neutral, monogamy is neutral.
Another thing is, it just boggles the mind sometimes. I mean, for me, I'll speak for myself. The creationalism of making this fantasy husband that would never think of such practices. So I was having a conversation, and this was years ago, and this wife was adamant about, oh, my husband would never, he ain't never done. And then she brought me in it and was like, well, Fatimah said you do think about that. And I told her how wrong she was, and he was like, I do. Careful. I do. Got me in trouble because, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, if he had to use me to transition into that conversation and be honest, I said, the thing is, you didn't think it because you didn't want to think it. You had created this fantasy that never was. That never was. He never told you he didn't want to. He never said it. You assumed it. And that's, you know, that's where the quote comes in. Your assumptions make an ass out of you. But she was shocked. And I'm like, I don't know why you were shocked. I told you. And then he just confirmed what I said. Now, this is before Coach Nazir was even in polygyny, but I'm like, I'm not a dummy either. That's still a man. And we need to quit acting like he doesn't have certain things in his mind, even, although we process things differently. Don't erase the fact that these thoughts are there and they're on the table for the men to speak about. But sometimes we're so busy creating this fantasy over there of what we think he should be or should say or how he should act or what desires he should have, that we're missing a lot of signs that polygyny is in his mind, is in his heart, and it's a goal of his, no matter if he decides to do it or not. You know, so quit making these fantasy husbands.
I mean, I think it's, you know, the whole thing about, you know, just marriage. It's marriage. You know, whether it's polygyny or monogamy, it's a form of marriage. So again, as we stated multiple times in this video, if you are, you know, anti-polygyny, you're anti-marriage, because that's what polygyny is, a form of marriage. And it is a moral form of marriage.
Yeah, folks been conditioned so long and lied so much that they tricked a lot of people into thinking that it's something that is not normal. It's an abnormality. There's a disease in the heart of the man. And I'm thinking, I'm like, are they watching the men around them? I don't care if they, you know, whatever religion they have, even if they feel as though they're godless. And I've met some very, some rough characters in my day, but I'm like, I've never known a straight man to just go, I'm gonna focus right here on this one woman. I don't see nothing else but her. I've yet to meet that person, you know, because then I start going, this is really how men kind of think about things. You know, they have, I always say they have really big hearts. So they have room for more than just one person. And more than just one wife in their heart. And we're so busy, some of us, minimizing the size of their heart that we don't see that they even have the thought. And I'm like, all of them had the thought that I met. Now, whether they practice it or not, I'm like, every man that I know was like, I don't know, I think I could share some time with someone other than you. In whatever way they said it. Now, it might not have been moral the way they said it, but I get it. I'm like, maybe that's just how things are. But to choose to be moral and be and make a decision to say, this is going to be a marriage, and then this is going to be another marriage is really important. And I just want to drive that point home. I'm trying to take something out of them that's there.
Yeah, they don't need to meet us to be learning about polygyny, think about polygyny. No, they don't. So uninviting us to different events ain't gonna stop it. Oh, he talked to Coach Nazir. Oh, nah, he gonna be talking about polygyny. Nah, Coach Nazir gonna tell him that he need to speak his mind, try to have an open conversation with you prior to, or at least y'all have a conversation about it.
Honestly.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're a woman, newsflash, you can actually initiate the conversation. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Speak about it. Deal with those emotions and feelings and get that stuff out. All right? Don't come back complaining that you didn't speak about it, you did something you didn't like, but you wasn't willing to talk about it. Just saying. It's a thing.
You initiate the conversation, you will be able to understand, you'll be able to communicate, you'll be able to understand the different sides of it, and it won't be just your, whatever it is that you just have that's blocking your mental. If you are a person that's anti-polygyny, or you feel that you may be anti-polygyny because you don't have all the answers, or you just don't understand it. So initiate conversation.
Indeed. And in the comments, you stuck with us this whole while, put down in the comments pro-marriage.
Pro-marriage.
Pro-marriage if you're pro-marriage. If you're not pro-marriage, it is what it is. But also consider subscribing, hitting that bell, stay updated. We're going to rock out some GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
And connecting on a higher level every single day.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.